Welcome to r/Pettyrevenge, where a Karen buys all the toilet paper in a supermarket and gets a little dose of justice in the end. Okay, y'all, it's been a sucky week for me, and I was just not having it anymore last night at the grocery store. I meander through the aisles buying my Corona snacks, which I already ate, shocker, and I know I need toilet paper. I hit up the toilet paper aisle and see 6 24-packs of Charmin. I was stoked, in stock and the good stuff at that. There was a middle-aged Karen on the phone standing in front of the stack, so I stupidly wait my turn to grab a pack. Boy, was I wrong. The crazed poop paper hoarder proceeds to look at me, take all 6 packs, put them in her cart, and just roll the F away with a smirk on her face. I almost shit myself. Good thing I didn't, because there was no toilet paper left. Now, as I mentioned, the Karen was on the phone. She was complaining to someone about how this is the second store she went to, and they better have baby wipes, because buttholes who don't have kids shouldn't be buying baby wipes when people like I need them. You guessed it. My asthmatic self sprinted over to the baby aisle all wheezing. I put all probably 20-something containers that were left of wipes, even the ones on the very top of the shelf I had to climb for, in my cart, and I waited. Sure enough, toilet paper Karen comes strolling down the aisle, looks at the shelves. I can see her start to get mad. Then she sees me. Cart full of snacks and baby wipes. Face grinning ear to ear like a eating jack-o'-lantern. Before she can say a word, I wheel myself away with pep in my step, feeling petty and satisfied as hell. Now, I'm not a complete monster, so as soon as she left the aisle, I went and put all the packages back where they went. But man, the satisfaction was epic. I nearly died of a shard attack laughing. But it's a good thing I didn't, because I still have no freaking toilet paper. Well, luckily with all that toilet paper, that Karen should have no problem wiping that smug look off her face. Our next Reddit post is from Film Cup. I wasn't a bad dad. He turned out pretty good. Journeyman electrician, works at a Fortune 500 company. Anyway, when my son was 16, a long time ago, he needed $30 for a school trip. I gave it to him several days in advance. The night before the school function, he told me he'd spent it and needed another $30. I finally forced it out of him that he'd bought weed. I don't have a problem with that. If you put all the things I've smoked in a pile, it would be bigger than a house. But now he said he needed more money. So I said, okay, you go with me to the store and do what I ask, and I'll give you more money, and even throw in a little extra. He agreed, having pretty much no choice. I grabbed something out of the kitchen on the way out. We went to Target, kind of an upscale joint around here for simple stuff, but before we got out of the car, I told him the deal. You have to wear a hat made out of this aluminum foil, and you can't talk to anybody. If somebody says something or asks you a question, just mumble, "I can't take it again. Not like last time." He agreed. I made the hat, included a little point on the top and 2 flaps that covered his ears. I put kind of a tail on the back. It looked perfect. I walked around the store, and he had to stay at least 10 feet away so people wouldn't think we were together. I heard him mumble unintelligent stuff a few times as people stared and walked past. He never broke character, and we walked through nearly every section. Electronics, toys, men's and women's clothing, auto, pharmacy, and food. It took nearly 45 minutes for me to grab the 3 things we went for. I gave him the cart and enough money to pay for it and watched as he went through the line. When we got back to the car, I said F it. He did a good job and gave him $50. And then OP adds an edit. I thought about making him buy a pack of condoms, a raw chicken, and some Vaseline. But I just got what we went there for, engine oil, a hit of lettuce, and some eye drops. And then we had this bizarre contribution from Shellington down in the comments. I'm now almost a 35-year-old female, and when I was 12, I wanted my earlobes pierced a second time. My dad agreed, but with the caveat that whenever he would say, "Hi-ho, Silver, away!" I would respond with, "Get 'em up, Scout!" For the rest of my life. I readily agreed, and he has used this to embarrass the hell out of me. But in late 2018, I was in a coma for a week, hospital for 3 months, battled sepsis, and a bunch of surgeries. When I was finally more cognizant of everything, I was coming to and he says, "Hi-ho, Silver, away!" and I could barely talk. My vocal cords were damaged, but I got out a "Get him up, Scout." Now he does it more often, just to make sure I'm okay. Awesome revenge, but for sure you'll be laughing about this later. These posts make me think that the main reason to have a kid is to have a gullible person that you can mess with for the rest of your life. Our next Reddit post is from Manon. So, one of my coworkers is a huge choosing beggar. Like, aggressively choosy to the point he will bully people who are buying him free things to get exactly what he wants. This normally doesn't affect me, as I've learned to just tell him to F off. Of course, he always complains and pretends like I just attacked him out of nowhere, but that's not the point of the story. But unfortunately, the person who does all the food ordering and general paperwork stuff in our office is a super sweet older lady that isn't comfortable telling people no. One day, we had pizza for a lunch meeting and we all realized that the favorite pizza of everyone in the office she only ordered one of was obviously different. I forget exactly what got left off, but half of it was not what it normally comes with. I went and talked to the person who ordered it, and she straight up told me that Choosing Beggar had stood by her desk and basically berated her until she changed half the pizza to be what he wanted, cause he didn't like some of the toppings. He wanted the whole pizza, but thankfully she made him compromise. This ticked me off because my favorite pizza was ruined and he bullied this woman who we all affectionately call the office mom. But whatever, right? It's free pizza, I'll just get something else and I'll live. The straw that broke the camel's back was when I noticed that he hadn't even touched the pizza. He was eating a different one. I decided to casually ask why he wasn't touching it. Come to find out, he didn't actually want any during that lunch. He knew he wanted something else, but he figured he might want some leftovers later in the week, so he had her change the order. So basically this mother effer bullied a sweet old lady and changed a pizza order for the one pizza everyone in the office wanted, just on the off chance he might want leftovers later. So you want to guess what I did? I ate it. All of it. I didn't want any more than one piece, but I ate all 6 pieces of a half pizza just so he couldn't have any. You can bet your butt he complained about it too. I just looked back and was like, "Oh, sorry, did you want some during this meeting? 'Cause if I had known you wanted it today, I would have saved you some." He glared at me for about a week and I felt like I just ate Thanksgiving dinner, but worth it. Our next Reddit post is from C. Alex Author. This was shared to a group I'm in. I hope no one else has shared this yet. He was cheating on me with a coworker of mine. She knew we were together, but told people she didn't care. Our moms and families ran in the same circles, so their actions affected a lot of people. After I learned what was going on, we broke up. I found out she was expecting to marry him now that I was out of the way. So I sent her flowers and an inexpensive ring delivered to her at our job, along with a lovely marriage proposal. She yelled out, "He proposed!" Everyone was clapping and congratulating her. I conveniently went on my break when she ran off to call him. When I came back, she was crying. I put on my best face and asked, "So, when's the wedding?" She ran off to the bathroom sobbing hysterically. Best $75 I ever spent. Our next Reddit post is from Doubling It Up. I work in a hotel with a very large storage area for booze and syrups, which often gets super dirty. We normally have to wash the floor using a tiny mop, but recently we've started using the housekeeping floor machine, which is super easy to use. And they normally just let us because what's the worst that could happen? The other day, I asked one of the housekeepers if I could quickly use the floor machine, as it only takes about 5 minutes and I would give it right back. The answer was a firm no. When that was the final answer, I politely asked why not. She then proceeded to say, "You don't know how to use it." Arguing that I did got me absolutely nowhere. I just said, "Sure, whatever." I went to housekeeping and told them the story, which they apologized for and then immediately made the woman who told me no do it. Our next Reddit post is from Hyperactive Lime. I have a coworker that likes to steal stuff. She'll take sips of people's drinks, take from a pack of rolls, and other people's cookies that were safely tucked away. One day I had Girl Scout cookies, Thin Mints, that I had hidden away. Guess who found them and ate them? When I called her on it, I basically yelled at her. She put the cookies down and apologized. It was a BS apology, like when you bump into someone and say, "Oh, sorry." Like the cookies just fell in her mouth. She offered to replace them. She's a weird health food person and only eats special organic junk. I personally don't care what diet/lifestyle people choose, but she's the type of person who thinks she's better than everyone else because she follows X diet. She brought me in some weird health food knockoff Thin Mints. They were disgusting, and the texture made me want to puke. She knew damn well the cookies she stole from me were real Thin Mints. We had a celebration in the office recently, and she offered to bring Girl Scout cookies. I thought she would bring the knockoffs, but she didn't. The box of cookies sat there unopened until the end of the day when I put it in my bag and walked out with it. OP, if this girl keeps stealing your food, I'd like to introduce you to the world of Haribo sugar-free gummy bears. Just leave a bowl of those on your desk, and I'm sure the problem will solve itself. Our next Reddit post is from Lady Voluptuous. A few years ago, when I was a student, I lived in a shared house type situation with 5 other people. We each had our own rooms, but there were 2 bathrooms that we had to share. There was a smaller third space that was just a small room with a shower and a teeny tiny sink and vanity. To be honest, it was the smallest room, and because it was an old house, it wasn't the prettiest looking space, and some of the mildew and damp patches could get bad in the winter. But it had the best shower pressure, so I preferred to use that space to shower. About a month after my friend moved out and another girl moved in, I noticed that I was having to buy shampoo and conditioner more often than usual. Now, other people used to keep some of their personal belongings in the bathrooms, but it was easy to identify whose was whose, or sometimes it'd be named. It's that thing of, if you want to use something or borrow something, then ask. I didn't think much of it at the time. I just put it down to maybe I was using more product than I usually was. I always wash my hair at night, and back then I used to have a late night job. So I put it down to me being tired after classes during the day and work at night, and not keeping an eye on the amount of product I was using. The tiny vanity in that smaller shower room had an even tinier cupboard. And in that cupboard, I kept a small pink basket with some of my other things in there. I knew that someone was definitely using my beauty products when my glass pot of face cream had been very clearly used, and the lid wasn't screwed on properly. I have quite sensitive skin, and the face moisturizer cream I like to use is expensive. You only need a small amount anyway, but this had clearly been dug into. Someone had really gone deep into that pot of what, at the time, I considered to be near to gold. It was that expensive for me to buy. I always used to make sure that the lid was screwed back on properly. I was that paranoid about storing it a certain way to make sure it didn't leak or spill out. I had a feeling it may have been the new girl who was using my stuff. She used the smaller bathroom as it was right next to her room. My shampoo also has a really distinct smell, and I was certain one night as she sat near to me, I could smell it. When once again my face cream had been dug into, I hatched a plan to try and get the face cream fiend. I had a bottle of gradual fake tan. So I scraped the face cream out of its original pot and put it into something else. And then I squeezed some of the fake tan into the face cream jar. The fake tan cream is white, the same as the face cream, and the more you use it, the more the tan gradually builds. So I sat back and waited. I made sure to check the jar that I put back in its place in my basket of goodies, and it was definitely being used. I watched as the new girl's face continue to subtly darken and go orange over the coming weeks, until she herself noticed and stopped using my face cream. My shampoo and conditioner also remained untouched after that. I moved out of the house a while ago, but from time to time, I see the girl around and bump into her. It always makes me smile. Then we have this interesting story from Staircase Obsession. We were having a house party, and a girl decided to do her makeup with my collection. I have a ton of palettes and lipsticks, so I guess it was enticing. Anyway, the jerk didn't ask me and has pretty much done her entire face when I walk in. I had a recurring eye infection for like a year at this point. My lash line would get pus on it and my eye would be inflamed. It looked like pink eye. At this point, the eye infection was almost gone, so you couldn't see it unless you looked really close at my lash line. But I had been using my eyeliner and mascara on it. Yes, I'm dumb, but I didn't want to be ugly. And of course, this girl had to use my eyeliner and mascara. She freaked the F out at me because apparently I should have known that she would use my makeup. I don't think she ever got an infection, but yeah, moral of the story is don't be stupid. Ask people before you use their stuff. Our next Reddit post is from Rare Pupper Dog. I work at a McDonald's part-time. I'm a 22-year-old male and go to college. So anyway, this dude came in the other day and I was working the register. He muscles his way to the front of the line. We're right by campus, and it's lunch hour, so the place is pretty packed. He tells me that he's in a huge rush and needs his food right now. Of course I tell him no. He can use the kiosks though. He tells me that he'll never use those effing pieces of shit and blows up at me, ranting about needing to get back to his work. Finally, he calms down and I tell him again he can either wait in line or use the kiosk. He storms to the back of the line, which, as I said earlier, is pretty long. 20 minutes later, he's up at the register waiting for his food. After I take his order, just because he's such a jerk, I wait to input it into the system so some other orders can go by and get completed first. Finally, he gets his food after a while, screaming that he'll leave us a 1-star review and report me to the manager. What he doesn't know, the manager is one of my best buds and watched the whole thing go down. After my shift was over, we both had a good laugh about it. Down in the comments, Drape Snormax sums up what I was thinking. A 1-star review for McDonald's? So he thinks he can convince people who are going to go to McDonald's not to go to McDonald's? And to that, Miorxmox replies, some lady gave us a 1-star for some BS, so out of curiosity, we checked her history. Pretty much every restaurant in the area also received 1-star for dumb reasons. She even gave Taco Bell a 1-star because they were closed on Christmas Eve. Some people are just special, lol. That was rSlash and if you like this video then hit that subscribe button because I put out new Reddit content every single day.